Good morning. Welcome. Hi.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning. Morning. Morning.
All right. So, who is not on the call so far as Alexi, Sophia, Eliza? Those are the people expected, and the rest of you are here. So, thank you for being here. So, first of all, happy Tuesday. Halfway through January already. That was fast. So, transforming the guest experience and steps to success and tips, tricks, and best practices. But I want to go over some of the changes that were made last week and the start of those changes and then the results of those changes too, and why we are doing these things. Does anyone know why we talk about pre-book? Why is having the guest's next appointment valuable? Why is that important? Why is that something that we work on? What do you think?
Having an appointment on the book means having money on the book.
Right? Yeah, so that means it's a guaranteed future. We know that we have business for the future. What else?
It frees up the phone lines for new guests if we already have that pre-booked appointment for a current guest.
Yeah, for sure. It definitely does that. It keeps them from having to call because what usually happens is when they don't call is or when they don't have something on the book, they notice that their roots have grown out. And when they notice that and they make that phone call at that time, usually they don't get in for another week or two. So they go around with the roots that don't look good. Number one. So they don't get in, instead of coming 4 weeks or 6 weeks, they come 8 weeks or 10 weeks, which spreads out their visits. Number one, it also will then have them, instead of coming 6 or 8 times a year, cuts it down to 4 or 5 times a year. So the number of visits for the whole year end up being less, which has an impact also. But also they don't have that Robert of Philadelphia look throughout the year. So it affects them in their way. So it has an impact on them too. So it's not just the bottom line or the dollar amount too. So that's why it's really important. It also keeps it in a rhythm and it saves on phone calls and time and all the rest of that too. So it's really critical. But I want to acknowledge the fact that it definitely has gone up, and it just since we started this conversation, it jumped. So last week, it went up for all three locations. So thank you for that. You're all responsible for that and taking on the new role of making sure that that is done. One of the things we talked about was having that done while they're in the salon or while they're at the front desk when they're checking in. If you have a relationship with them, I heard some of you talking about, well, I could just ask them when they come in because I know them. And I could say, hey, by the way, I noticed you don't have an appointment in the future. Let's get that set up for you. A couple of you have talked to me about that. And then I know the rest of you have been practicing on what it is to go to the back of the house, to get away from the desk and to have conversations with the stylist, the associate, and the guest about setting up their future appointments. And it's had an impact. I can see it because the results are there. But it also saves them time. It saves them. It's great for their experience too. So who wants to share some of the what your experience was in the last week and shifting that and doing it differently so other people can hear that?
I've personally noticed, this is Sam, by the way. I've personally noticed that it kind of takes the anxiety of having to book at the end of the appointment for guests away so they can thoroughly enjoy that ROP experience in the salon. So it's not something that, like, oh, I have to think about this, I have to plan this, I have to look at my calendar, all this, that, the third. And so it's just done. So they can really enjoy the head massage and the shampoo bowl. They can really enjoy the conversations with their stylist. It kind of makes it more in the moment for them, I think. So it's just like a nicer experience for them because that's already out of the way.
Yeah, that's great. And that's the point. Yeah, that's one of the key things about it is that we want to have happen for them is that they don't feel that rush, that pressure, that panic of, oh gosh, I got to think about this time, and they could do it on their time and when there's
I've seen like physically seen the guests kind of, you know how when you're really tense and your shoulders are all scrunched. I've seen guests just kind of like take a deep breath and be like, wow, that's done, I'm good, now we can enjoy.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And, making some people have a hard time making any form of commitment, especially, some people don't even like to commit to brushing their teeth the next day. Like it's commitment is hard for people. And once they actually make the commitment and sign their, like it's official, I have my future set up, I'm going to look good. That is a relief for people. It is. It's set. They've made the commitment to it, and it's a simple thing. And you think it's not that big a deal, but it does matter for people, and it does. I'm happy to hear that you see their experience being different about it too. And it sounds like, well, why would we spend so much time on that? Why would we talk about that? But it you know it works and it has an impact. So it has an impact on all of us, and it also keeps them from having to, in the next 3 months, especially in the next 3 months, if they don't get an appointment, even with a silver or bronze level stylist, sometimes, definitely a classic, if they don't have an appointment for the future, when they realize that they need to get their roots done, if they call at that point, it's a nightmare for everyone, because then everybody's got to scramble. And if you're answering the phone, then you got to talk to the stylist or leave a message with the stylist. Hey, so-and-so wants to get in. Can you get her in? And then you got to wait for the note to come back. Did she get the message? Can she get her in? She can't get her in. You got to call her back. Or you didn't call her back because you didn't hear from the stylist, so you don't know. And then they get trained to be that way. So then it becomes like your problem when they don't have that appointment on the book. So
Come on,
thanks. Oh, who's that?
let's go.
I
Sounds-
I would like to second that with like what Sam was saying, that like with us being more like attentive on like getting people, like making sure everyone's appointments are set, especially when we're in like the peak of season and it's hard to like find, like get an appointment, so it's like less stress on them and less stress on us, so we don't have to worry for that for them either, they
Yeah.
want to they don't want that like on their mind, they want to relax, they want to enjoy getting their hair done and all that also. So I second that with Sam.
Yeah, great. So thanks everyone for altering the way that we do it, because it's always been done a particular way forever and ever, and this is new, and it's kind of getting away from the front desk and not having that be the crutch of it, because the experience can happen elsewhere besides there at the last minute. So thanks for working on that. And that's all a part of service and the guest experience, and giving them more and having them get more value out of it, or spending more time with it. And you're not just a somebody who is by the way, like a checkout, just a counter person. You're there to have a relationship with the people, to develop a relationship with people, to get to know who they are. They're there to get to know who you are and your journey and whatever you're up to in life. So it's an interactive part of being somebody's guide or friend, versus just getting something checked off on a list, even though it is a part of a process that we like to have people go through.
And the best thing about building that relationship is if we have to call to reschedule or cancel, move something, they already love it. They won't be as mad.
Yeah, 1,000%. Yeah, so much easier when you have that connection with people. One other thing that happens in terms of practices, or something to note and be aware of, and that is that you don't have to ask anymore if they would like a receipt. We're automatic. I want you to get in the habit of automatically leaving that box checked and having the receipt sent to them either way, for a couple of reasons. One is it's a level of transparency. It lets them see exactly what was done. And two is there's the review at the bottom of the receipt, which asks them to, click a smiley face or whatever face they were throughout their visit. So it lets them give us instant feedback, and in a very simple way. So if they don't, absolutely love their hair, there's a little tweak or something about it, they can give us that information right away, without having to call or make a big deal out of it. And that sets a flag for us. And if it's really, if it's something they really don't like, obviously we would see that too, but it's instant. It's not something they have to log into. It's not something they have to, go online to Yelp or Google reviews or anything like that to let us know. So that's what's a little bit different about it. Now, obviously, it doesn't post the review online, which, for the sake of for this allowing them just to give us quick feedback, it's a good opportunity for them to just say, hey, it was good, all is good. Even if they don't comment on it, it lets us know right away. So you want to get into the habit of just automatically not checking that box. So those of you that aren't on the call, so that right now that's Gustavo, Eliza, Sophia. I know Marina's away. Alexi's getting ready to be away. Just make sure that you've heard this part and that you're aware of what the practices are that we want you to be taking on and thinking about, please. With that, we have a lot of people who we do not have emails for. So you also want to make sure you note on somewhere throughout their experience whether the email is there or not, and if it's not getting the email, and to let them know and inform them. And it came up on a call in the past about the fact that the person thought we were getting it to send them spam. It's not for that at all. In fact, we send out very little. We don't sell it to anybody. We keep that to us. We might send out a few newsletters a year. That's about it. The primary purpose of us having an email for them is so that they can access their appointments. They can look at their history. They can make changes. They can move appointments around. They can know what products were used, what services they had. So for rebooking, it makes it easier for them too. So for their whole experience, that is something that we've got to work on educating them on the differences in the new system, because they can do a lot more with the new system. So it's something else you want to add to your conversations with people, that they're going to have a lot more ability and a lot more ease and access to us when we have their email in the system. Any questions about that? Comments?
Enough for me.
Okay. Good. Okay. Another thing that we have going on is there's Sophia. Welcome, Sophia. Hello.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. So one of the other things that is happening right now, and there's going to be a big push between now and the end of the month. So whatever practices we have to put into place, we want to get on that right away. That is the VIP promotion. So this time of year, we typically sell over 100, easily over 100. I don't have the exact number, but I know the dollar amounts that we've done in the past, and we're way, way behind what we've done in the last 2-month period. So we sell it for sure every year, or it's been every year in November and December. In December and January. And this year started off slow, and it we had other things going on. I think that with the distractions of the implementation of the new software and whatever else, and the not preparing fully and putting in salon signage the way we normally do, it has had an impact on it. So it's far behind what we normally have. So for instance, last week there were 9 out of 119 at the Promenade, 14 out of 187 at the Bayfront, and 10 out of 212 guests. That's the number of guests, the bigger number that I'm reading, and the number of VIPs that were sold. So 8% of the guests at the Promenade, 7% of the guests at Bayfront, and 5% of the guests at the Village purchased VIPs. So the big thing about a VIP is the main thing is informing them, educating them on what it is. We've had people that have been coming for many, many years that have been told about it, but just never really quite heard it fully. So when they've discovered that, oh my gosh, there's this great deal, how come you never told me about it? We have been talking to them about it in most cases, but they just never fully grasped it. And then when they got it, like, oh, wow, I got to have that. That it makes so much sense for them to have it. There's so many reasons why they would want to have a VIP certificate at ROP. There's just, it's a no-brainer if they're already coming here for many, many reasons. And what are some of those reasons? Some of you veteran VIPers, why is VIP the thing?
Well, on the one hand, in the same vein as pre-booking their appointments, it saves them time at the desk. They come in and they know they're all set. And especially with the emailed receipts now, it just goes, straight to their email. They can see the transaction. You could probably add a note onto the receipt with the balance. I'm not sure if it does that automatically. But it just keeps, that whole everything running smoothly, especially if you're pre-booking them before or during the appointment.
Yeah, that's great. And the fact that it is all emailed to them now, or could be all emailed to them now with the information. So when they do leave and they don't have to stand up at the desk and do anything because the pre-book has already been taken care of. And now the checkout process just got even easier for them too. So a time saver for sure. Good. What else? Why? Why would they want a VIP?
Well, it's also basically free money. That 25% that we give them on top of everything just goes straight into that gift certificate. So a lot of people, and from experience, don't see it as 25% off, which it is technically, but it's just 25% upfront. So, if you're coming in for a service that's almost $500 anyway, what's the extra 100 to get another 150?
Yeah, it's totally free money. And most of those aren't done that generously. When you see them at other stores, they're not done with that kind of value added to them, and they're limited to small $20 chunks. So it's an opportunity for sure to get free money, which, makes a difference. Now, the other thing that's important for everybody to know is that it never expires, so they can, have it forever. We've had people who have gotten divorced, and the VIP balance was a part of the divorce decree where they split it up. It actually came from a lawyer that they wanted it split up in a particular way. They're really important and valuable to people, and they last, and they don't expire. So there's a part of the relationship that you're building with people that you want to have conversations with them about what it is. So those of you that are newer, so Charlie, Sophia, Sam, Eliza, what I would like for you to do is to practice having a conversation with somebody in the salon, a coworker. Practice why VIP. So why? Like, why would somebody want it? What are the benefits of it? And why would somebody want what a VIP is? So I'll expect you to be doing that, talking about it, so it becomes natural for you to have a conversation with somebody about, hey, this is our VIP program. Let me tell you a little bit about it. It's something I think you're going to want to participate in if you've never done it. So you can look in their history and see if they have had a VIP. And I think this should be part of the practices, especially going into the next 2 weeks, that you look up, have they ever purchased one? If they have, do they have a balance left? So this isn't only for people who have ever bought one, because only a small percentage of people have. There's a large, just in looking at last week, you can see 90% of the people who came in last week didn't buy one. Doesn't mean they didn't have one, but there's a large volume of people who want to know about it, and it's valuable to them. So it's not for the fact that we're selling anything. It's actually a convenience for people. It gives them an opportunity to like Becca said, make the checkout process easier, but also have all of that taken care of. What also naturally happens when people have a VIP is they actually spend more throughout the year because the money's already in the bank. It's like already paid for. So when they buy more product, they get more services. So there's obviously a benefit to us when that happens too. So even though it's a costly event because we give away, more than $100,000 worth of bonus money in this promotion, it has a huge benefit to the guest and to us. So it's for both. So if you would practice why VIP, so why it's important. So I'll be asking you individually. You'll get messages from me about that because I want you to role play it with me, and you can use one of your mentors to work on that so that you're able to easily have a conversation with somebody about it. You're going to want to look it up in the computer to see if they've purchased one before. And if they haven't, then have that conversation. If they have and they ran out, then have that conversation with them. So there are different levels of it. We also have support material finally on the way. We'll always have that going forward with our marketing butt in gear. So you'll have a card for them, for you to give to them, and an in-salon sign. But in the meantime, it's still there to be talked about because we're not going to be doing it too much longer. We have extended it to the end of the month, but you want to let people know that time is running out, and it's their opportunity to do that.
Yeah, and I also think it's a good like investment also, because there's a lot of people who come in, and like a lady last night I sold, uh she got VIP because she's never had one, and um she has like appointments through the all of this year and next year. So she got a VIP, and she like now is happy the fact that it's like she has that, because
You
I
just
didn't even know we were extending it. So that's actually kind of a good thing that we're doing that, because I some people have been asking.
Yeah, you just
So
you just gave
that's
her you just found money for her. You just found money for her. She's already got appointments. She's already going to be coming anyway. You just gave her a bunch of
yeah,
bonus money. So it's a real win-win, especially when you have somebody like that who's
yeah,
like, "Wow, this
exactly.
is great. A great opportunity for people." So even on the phones as you're talking to people, it's a good thing if you can mention to them, or if you can see that their history, they don't have the little diamond by their name. The little diamond right now is the indicator of whether they have a current active VIP. So if they don't, you might want to ask that question. By the way, this is still going on. You'll have an opportunity to buy it when you come to the salon. If it's before the end of the month, if not, I can take care of it for you here on the phone. So it's something that collectively we want to work on together because we have a long way to go to get to even to last year's numbers, which is our goal. And I know that when we put our minds, when we collectively have a conversation about it and we work on something together and have a goal, that it happens because you all participate in it, just like I watched happen last week around pre-booking, and watch the numbers just, jump dramatically, especially for January, because you have more guests to book. So to keep the percentage higher, it takes more. So you've all done a super job at, taking care of the guest. And that's really what it ultimately is about, is taking care of them. So I appreciate you being a part of that. And that's why I wanted to bring up the VIP, especially right now, because that's something that's important, and it provides a lot of value to people when we talk about it to them. There's something online called, but this is just real quick. This is just a by the way. I just want to make you aware of it. We've only sold one. We may not sell any of them. I don't know. There's a membership online for 5 blowouts a month for $99, or 5 blowouts with extensions for $149. It's listed online. It can be sold in salon. It can be sold online. Either way. And that is for our silver and bronze level stylists. And they get 5 blowouts. It's a crazy deal. It ends up being $20 a blowout. If they don't use them, they lose them. So they have 1 month from the day they buy it till they can use all 5, and then it re-ups itself for the next month for the next 5. $99. You're welcome to talk to people about that, especially if you get somebody who, gets regular blowouts or is talking about them. We'd love to get somebody hooked on those. You also could, if you were doing a lanyap is something that's a surprise gift that's unexpected, as something enhanced or extra that you give to somebody. As a little bonus, you could, if there's a circumstance or situation where you want to do something special, you could gift that to someone. But that's something that we have a lot of bronze and silver level time available. So we want to make that an opportunity for those people to be doing hair. They're great at blowouts anyway. All of them have, it's kind of their wheelhouse right now. So that's something to offer. So we had that somebody buy one I put it on as a test, and somebody found it and bought it and came in, and it surprised everyone, because even on our end, because I didn't launch it or talk about it, but it happened and I left it on there. So it's available for people. So I don't want you to be too surprised with that one right now. Any questions?
I was gonna go ahead.
Who wants to go first?
Okay, I just have one quick question. What's the best way for us newbies to kind of start the conversation with VIP? Because I can pretty much, I think, convince them, but like, what's the best way to approach it? To be like, hey, you don't have VIP. Like, how do I go about that in a not weird way?
Yeah, good question. So either Becca, Mickey, Robert.
A way that I find works for me is, especially with ticket prices, if someone's already spending, close to $400, at that point you can just sell it to them as a no-brainer. Like, hey, your ticket is $430. If you want to spend $600, you get an extra $150 for us towards your next appointment, or we can set you up. It's, on the VIP program where you pay a little bit more ahead, but that way your appointments in the future are paid for because you're coming in through May or through,
and what about
the summer.
Like, how do we get snowbirds to get them?
You can always tell them, it doesn't expire. You have it for next year. But with all your current appointments, it's a good investment for your hair because you're booked out through the rest of the year.
That works. Okay. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, some people would have them actually calculate how much do I spend in a year, so they know.
Yes, some people like to pay to the exact dollar, which we don't do anymore. But like, we have a client at the Promenade who would like write me a check for like exactly $2,018, and then I would manually do the 25%.
So in the increments of, we'll go up. I think there's somebody who buys, I don't know what the biggest one is this year, but it might be
I feel like at some point this year I sold at 3,000, but that might just be the biggest I saw.
Yeah, that could be 3,000.
The VIP I did, the VIP I did last night was 2,000. So that's the biggest I've sold.
Yeah. So that's a $500 on top, right? 500 on top of the 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. A question about the blowouts thing. So they have to use it within the month they bought it, right? Is that what you said?
Yeah. So the membership works. So
and
get
then
5 for the month.
Okay, and then the 5 will go to next month. Is that it, or how is that?
So
it doesn't roll over.
It doesn't roll over. So it's a
okay.
membership. There's a couple different ways to do it. How we're doing it right now is as a membership, so that those 5 are within a month. So if you get 5 for that month for $99, they don't use them, they lose them, then it re-ups itself again for the next month, and they can cancel it too. They don't have to re-up.
Okay.
That's the current.
I just wanted
form.
to make sure, like, if I have to explain.
Yeah, no, that's great, because it's a little different than other ways of doing it, but it's a little bit of an experiment for us around memberships. It's a really busy week. I know you're all going to be stretched to the max this week. So we've got 2 people out. Lexi's going to be out, and Marina's out for this week. So all of you have had to step it up another notch. So thanks for doing that. Thanks for being who you are and performing at the top level, especially as we get into the peak of the craziness. So thank you all for that. Does anybody have anything else they'd like to add, comment? Yeah, but before we head off to our day.
The only other thing while we were talking about VIP, I wanted to say was let's all also make sure we're turning on that diamond for people who buy VIP for the first time,
Good point.
because that'll save us time in the long run again.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. So that's that little, what do they call that? Emoji icon. What is it called on there?
I think they're called
It's a
tags.
tag.
Tags.
Yeah, they're tags. Yeah, yeah. Which I like the fact that we have that. That actually makes it easier for everybody. So
Yeah, for sure. It's a way to put a little cheat sheet on there for a lot of things, and we'll be able to use that for more things as we go into the future. Okay, everybody has their assignments. They know what to work on for the week. Thank you all very much. I appreciate you, and I'll talk to you soon. Have a great day.
You as
Bye,
well. Thank
Rob.
you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a good day, guys.
bye.